Okay, so worksheet 3, I'm going to go over it. So the first step is to put everything on the same side. So we need to bring this -8 over, and it'll become a +8. Now you don't necessarily have to write all this out that I'm getting ready to write, but you need to know that A is 1, B is 6, and C is 8. Again, using the quadratic formula. Okay, if you don't have that memorized yet, an easy way to memorize it is to write it down at the beginning of each problem. It'll probably take you about 4 problems and then you'll have it memorized, you know. So -b plus or minus the square root of b squared, 6 squared is 36, minus 4 times a times c, that's 8, over 2 times a, which is 2. So you got 36 minus 32 there. So here we've got the square root of 4, right? Isn't that what that's going to be? Okay, so you got 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Now, you want to divide this up. So you got x equals -6 plus 2 over 2. And you got x equals -6 minus 2 over 2. So this is -4 over 2, which is -2. And this is -8 over 2, which is -4. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I don't think that wrong now.
Well, maybe I made a mistake. What'd you get, Connor?
I hope not, because yours looks a lot easier than mine.
Well, what'd you get?
I had -3 plus or minus square root of 2i.
Okay. Well, your -3 was just this part. Okay, so this part's correct. These two are correct. And you said the plus or minus the square root of 2i?
Yeah, because I think it's where I went wrong with the adding all of the stuff under the square root stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I threw that in my calculator.
Yeah, that's why you need to write it down so you can figure out your mistakes, you know? Find out what you're doing if you're making errors on it. Let's do another one. Maybe the next one will be correct, and you won't feel so bad about it, you know?
I hope so.
Okay, so this one is, all of these are on the same side, but they're not in order. We want to put them in descending order. So here, A is 1, B is 0, and C is -64. Because there's not a k to the first power, so B is 0. So x is going to be -b, -0 is just 0, even though I wrote it like that, it's just 0, isn't it? B squared, 0 squared is just 0, minus 4 times a times c, that's a -64, over 2 times a. Now, if this is 0, we can just drop it, right? Okay? But I have plus or minus, and this is 4 times 64. And it's going to be negative times a negative, so it's going to be a positive. So it's going to be the square root of 256. And the square root of 256 is 16. So plus or minus 16 over 2. So that means I got 16 over 2, which gives me 8. Or I've got negative 16 over 2, which gives me -8. Oh, not like that, sorry. It's not a coordinate. It's 2 different answers. Any questions on that one? Did you do better on that one, Connor?
Yeah, no, that one's fine.
Okay, well, actually, that one was harder. You just made some little mistake on the first one, probably.
Yeah, I put it in my calculator again, and it gave me the right answer that time. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, or you threw it in your calculator wrong, yeah. Okay, so the opposite of B is -13, plus or minus the square root. 13 squared. What's 13 squared, y'all? 169, good. Minus 4 times A times C. -4 times -3 is a +12. and 2 times a is a negative 8. So I got negative 13 plus or minus. So this is 169 minus 48. So that's 121 over negative 8. So that's negative 13 plus or minus. The square root of 121 is what? 11 over 8. So we're going to get that x is negative 13 plus 11 over 8, and that x is negative 13 minus 11 over 8. So this one is negative 2 over 8, which is negative 1/4. Make sure you are reducing all of your answers. And this one is negative 24 over 8, which is negative 3. So how many people got that one correct? Good. Good, good, good.
You had the negative 8. Divided by negative 8.
Oh, I didn't put my negative there.
Yeah, that's mine.
Thank you so much, because it changes all of our signs, doesn't it?
Okay, I was like,
Very good.
I did the exact same thing you did. And I was like, I was trying to think, why did I not carry it in here? Okay.
Very, very good. So obviously our little warm-up, Julie was already on it. She's already catching my mistakes. I need someone to help me up here, okay? That's why you got to stay awake, Ford. Okay, so we're going to bring the negative 7x over here. It'll become a positive 7x, right? Okay, so we have x equals negative b plus or minus b squared, that's 49, minus 4 times a times c, that's 12, over 2 times a, that's going to be 24, right? Okay, now 49 minus 48 is a 1, right? What's the square root of 1, class?
0.
No, 1. Trying to drive us all crazy. Negative 7 plus 1 over 24, and negative 7 minus 1 over 24. So that's negative 6 over 24, which is negative 1/4. And that's negative 8 over 24, which is negative 1/3. Any questions on that?
I think it's that one right, but not 1 and 3.
But not
I'm going
3? Yeah, they're actually very similar, aren't they? But you know what? You got to be careful that when you bring that over, that you make sure you change the sign of it, right? And get it in the right descending order. How'd you do on number 4, William?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, let's bring the 5 over. It's going to be negative. Okay, so you got A, B, C. Okay, opposite of B, that's going to be a positive 5. B squared is going to be 25 minus 4 times 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 2 times A would be 6. Did I make a mistake there? Nobody thinks so? So this becomes positive, 2 negatives. So this is 25 plus 24, which is 49, right? So we're going to have a square root of 49, which is 7. So I'm going to have x equals 5 plus 7 over 6, and I'm going to have x equals 5 minus 7 over 6. So this is 12 over 6, which is 2. This is negative 2 over 6, which is negative 1/3. Any questions on 5? How'd you do on number 5, T?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Number 6. Okay. So, I keep saying x. This is really u, isn't it? See, the variable is a u instead of an x. So did you use u or did you use x? Use x for all of them? I don't doubt it. Okay. So, technically, this one should be w, right? Okay. So it's negative 6 plus or minus the square root. So square this, you get 36. minus 4 times A times C. That's negative 1 times 72 is negative 72. 2 times A is going to be negative 2. Y'all make sure I don't drop that negative on that bottom again, okay? You know I need your help here. So 4 times 72 is 288. It's negative times negative, so it's a positive. Okay? And if you add them together, you get 324. If you take the square root of, I said 324, didn't I? Yeah. I said it wrong for a minute there. If you take the square root of 324, you get 18. So you're going to have W is going to be negative 6 plus 18 over negative 2. And W is going to be negative 6 minus 18 over negative 2. So when you add these together, you get 12. And divide it by negative 2, you get negative 6. You add these together, you get negative 24. Divided by negative 2, and you get 12. Raise your hand if you got that one correct. Very good. Okay, number 7. Number 7 sort of looks like, because it has that leading negative, doesn't it? Okay, so this one's going to be H, by the way. So the opposite of B is going to be a positive 4. B squared is 16 minus 4 times. Multiply these together, you get negative 5. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So you get 16 plus 20 over negative 2. So 16 plus 20 is 36. And we like that because that's easy. So H is going to be 4 plus 6 over negative 2. And H is going to be 4 minus 6 over negative 2. So this is going to be 10 divided by a negative 2. That's negative 5. And this is going to be negative 2 divided by negative 2, which is a positive 1. Any questions on that one? Anybody?
Where did you get the negative 5 from?
Negative 1 times 5.
Oh.
Good question, though.
Everything's so good.
No, it's just a little mistake there.
No, because that got right. Because I mean, I just had negative 4, negative 1, and regular 5. So, I mean, that should have come out about the same.
Yeah, that would.
Very.
So did you have the square root of 16 plus 20 or the square root of 36?
Yeah, I had a square root of negative 4, written out all right, and then on the next line it just shows square root of 4. Where that came from, I don't know.
We don't either.
Yeah, I know what it is now. It's all the odd questions that I got wrong.
I know what. You know what? If you had the square root of 4, then you were thinking like 20 minus 16.
Maybe I was.
Yeah, make sure you write your 16 first when you write it down.
I usually put those in my calculator just to save time and energy. Plus, I'm usually feel like those are less flawed than me. I'm more likely to.
Well, that's okay, but I think you're putting your calculator, I think you did this first, and then you did that. So make sure you do it in the right order.
Oh, I just put the whole thing in my calculator. Negative 4 squared minus 4 times negative 1 and 5. And it comes out of 2.
That's because you didn't put the negative 4 in parentheses.
So if you put negative 4 squared and you're like, negative 6, negative.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's a calculator.
No, that's an order.
So like when you do it in your head, when you think negative 4 squared, you just know it's positive 16, but the calculator has to have parentheses.
Well, that's because if you write negative 4 squared, it means square the 4 and then take the opposite of it. Because the exponent is on the 4. But if you do this, it means do negative 4 times negative 4. So the way it's written matters.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, number 8. Okay, so we're going to do 2b squared plus 5b minus 7 equals 0. Then we're going to have b is going to be negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 4. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. And 2 times that is 4. So what is 4 times 14? Anybody know? 4 times 14. Somebody tell me. It's going to be 56. It's going to be positive because you got 2 negatives, right? So what is 25 plus 56?
81.
And what is the square root of 81?
4.
He's messing with us. Okay, so you're going to have negative 5 plus 9, which is 5 over 4, so you get 5/4. And you're going to have negative 5 minus 9 over 4. That's negative 14 over 4. Reduce that, you get negative 7 over 2. Remember to reduce. This is negative 14 over 4, so reduce it.
So I didn't do so. Yeah, the top one is right.
Oh, yeah, that's 1. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was still laughing at Connor. He was messing with me. You really did do a good job messing with me there, didn't you? No. Make sure, y'all, you ought to be able to reduce something, okay? Divide something by 2. Oh, that doesn't help your answer any. You know?
So far I have a streak.
She had 1 in a decimal instead of 1 in a fraction. What difference does it make?
They work Saturday.
That's funny.
I don't know, it's just a thing.
Okay, if that's true, then why can't y'all do fractions? Yeah, good point. Connor, what were you saying? Connor, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I'm on the streak. All the odd questions are wrong. I don't know whether I want to continue the streak just for... I don't know what it'd be called, but just for fun. I don't know. Fun is fun, not fun is not. You
No,
know,
I agree with that. That makes sense.
you're not wrong.
Well, just trying to-
What?
Try not-
Okay, look at number 9.
Ah,
Anybody get those answers?
I got it.
What in the world?
Yes.
No. No. 9, 9.
I got 10 over 10. I know, but I
You know what it did this time? What did you do? The same thing I did in the last, number 7.
I got negative 2 over 5.
Yeah.
I just forgot to
Did you have the square root of 31? Did you have the square root of 31?
I did have the square root of 31.
That's because again, you did,
Oh, that's what I wanted.
you're putting it in your calculator incorrectly.
Yeah.
You're smarter than your calculator. You know that.
This is surprising. The calculator has
You're right.
betrayed me.
Very good. What'd you say, William? What'd you say?
I'm really smart.
You're
I'm smarter than
The calculator only does what you tell it to do. It doesn't correct your,
Computers are only as smart as the people who make them. No, use them.
Because they usually can
I
mess
think about
up.
that for like 2 seconds. Because this person who's never seen a computer before and a person who's worked on computers their whole entire life and give them the same computer, it's going to be a user thing.
let me ask you something. In this problem number 10, what is C?
C is 0.
C is 0. So when I do A times C, I'm going to get negative 1 times 0, so I get 0 here, right? So what's happening? Well, this is going to be 64 minus 0, isn't it? So that's going to be 8. So I'm gonna get that y is negative 8 plus 8 over negative 2, and I'm gonna get y is negative 8 minus 8 over negative 2. What's the top of this equal to? What is 0 over negative 2 equal to? 0. This is negative 16 divided by negative 2, and you get 8.
Oh my gosh, the little thing in me.
No. Yes. I'm done.
Okay, I did do this.
I'm dropping out of high school.